when I think main event, I think watching Quentin Rampage Jaxxon. I think watching him in Pride. I think watching him, win the UFC title. Sometimes I don't project myself as, being a main event fighter. Granted, that wasn't on a pay-per-view, but we got to, headline a bunch of badass cards, which I thought was super cool for me from being a kid from a small town and, just a little wrestling background. But yeah, I think of main events. I think of, big name guys like him, John Jones, Anderson Silva's, what I mean?
DC.
The pioneers, man, that, are really they're moving the needle.
Yeah.
So
did you text Dana, tell him happy birthday the other day?
You already know. My mom told me it's the boss's birthday.
What's the relationship in terms of like getting the fights over the years? Did you always have a manager, or did you work directly with Dana back then?
Yeah, we had a manager, and so they would deal with him on some of the bigger ones. But then, as you know, he's dealing with the needle movers. He's dealing with the pay-per-view guys, with the superstars. Dealt with Joe Silva for years, and he would deal with my manager at the time, John Fosco, who managed me forever, and now Sean Shelby, deals with Lloyd Pearson and Mick and Hunter and all those guys. So it's always nice having representation.
Yeah, I see. Like some people have talked about like you and your story. We asked the Jaxxon Podcast Discord about training at different gyms. They talked about Team Alpha Male. They talked about Jaxxon Wink. They talked about you having the ability to train at probably two of the most storied MMA gyms, or like the idea of at least being around those fighters, those coaches, those energies. Can you kind of walk us through the difference between both of those and your career with both of those gyms?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so it first all started out, in Illinois. I trained with Joey Gilbert, who fought BJ Penn in both their first pro fights in UFC. Like, it was either 23 or 32. I can't remember. It was in Atlantic City. And so Joey was a four-time Illinois state champ, one of the greatest wrestlers in Illinois history, besides the Williams brothers. And so he started the gym. So my brother and I went to, train there first. And then, was training with Gilbert Grappling and Midwest Training Center and Alex Trujillo and Izzy Martinez, Izzy Style Wrestling. So I was working and training with all those gyms, for those years, about 5 or 6 years in Chicago. And, just was, trying to, seek out different partners. And so we heard about, everyone knows about Greg Jackson, Mike Winklejohn's gym, the storied gym of, countless, MMA legends, UFC legends. And so we went out there, drove my RV across the country and started training with those guys and got to work out with my buddy Cub Swanson, who I saw on the way here, and, Carlos Condit. Just so, Donald Cerrone, Diego Sanchez. After we fought, he came back, and then we trained together, so years later.
How was that? How was training with Diego?
Dude, the first day back, it happened to be sparring day, and I hadn't seen Diego in a couple years, and he just popped in. It happened to be sparring day, and everyone's like, you guys got to get one round. And so we put the gloves on, put the headgear on, and everybody in the gym stopped to watch us. I remember John Jones was training, Travis Brown was in there, Cerrone, all these guys sat and watched Diego and I do one more 5-minute round, dude. And it looked pretty damn close to that, what you just saw, dude.
That's crazy.
He's like, dude, you're nuts. I'm like, same with you, Diego. Let's not do that again, man. And we just sat there, laughed, hugged each other. That was it. I think it was, everybody had to kind of see that one more time, man. So
Man, I don't think I sparred anybody that I